Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome if you are new. My name is Gwen. I'll be sharing 3 easy farmhouse DIYs using mostly Dollar Tree supplies. Let's get on with these DIYs. For this first project, I will be using various products that I picked up from the Dollar Tree, and these are just some wood items that they have from Crafter Square. First off, I will be removing the string that came on to this hanging sign. Using some spackling from the Dollar Tree, I'm just filling in those holes since I will not be utilizing those, and I will be creating a different hanger for this decor piece. Using one of these packs of this gather sign in the shape of houses, I'm just arranging my houses to get an idea of how I wanted them to be arranged on this wood piece. After deciding, I went ahead and used some cardstock in the color black and just cut out the right amount to cover that blank space in each of the letters. So I wanted to create a background for these letters so that you wouldn't see right through it and see the back of that decor in the background. So after sizing them out, I will be using some glue to just adhere those into place. I just used some glue sticks, but if you wanted to use hot glue, you can. But glue stick is very easy to use since it won't create those unevenness in the glue when you're gluing paper. When that part was complete, I took a strand of these wood beads. They're the unfinished wood beads. It's a garland from the Dollar Tree. And I was just deciding on how I wanted to frame out this wood decor piece. Initially, I was playing with the idea of attaching it to the top of this wood piece since it would have been the right length to do that. But essentially, I just ended up wrapping it around the perimeter of that wood, and you'll see that later. So the next step was to paint this wording using some ivory chalk paint. I did get some of the paint onto the black cardstock, which I wasn't really planning on doing, but it was accidental. But I do like how it looks, so it does add a little bit of that distressed look to it. When I decided on the arrangement of how I wanted this to look, I went ahead and used some hot glue and just attached those pieces down to the backdrop. And I decided on this type of design where I sort of alternated them to be higher and lower and just kept on with that pattern as you see right here. Then taking my hot glue, I went ahead and just attached that wood bead strand. Again, I decided on framing out this wood piece instead of adding it to the top of it. And I did have to add a few extra beads from my spare parts onto the strand since it wasn't quite long enough to frame out this piece. But it ended up working out just fine. So when all the pieces were attached, I went ahead and added a little more embellishment, taking some greenery, and these are just sprigs of boxwood that I had in my stash, and also some ribbon from the Dollar Tree, making a simple shoestring bow. I just went ahead and tied that ribbon up, and I felt like it was too thin, and I decided on adding an extra bow to the bottom, just layering it to add more volume. So I decided on using this piece of burlap ribbon. This is also from the Dollar Tree, and I just made that simple bow and then attached that small bow to the top using some jute string. Then it was time to assemble my boxwood pieces of greenery. and I was just trying to figure out how I wanted them to look. So eventually I decided on this placement here, and then added the ribbon or the bow on top. Once all the pieces were attached, the last bit of detail I needed to add was to add a hanger to the back of this project using a piece of jute string. I did just run it across the back in a straight line, added some hot glue to either side, and taking some scrap pieces of felt, I just added that over where I placed the hot glue just for added reinforcement, and that about does it for this first DIY. I am very happy with how this came out. It's very farmhouse, and it would be great for everyday decor in your home, or you can use it for the fall or Thanksgiving. It would be appropriate for that time. Hope you like it. Moving on to project number 2, we are also using one of those wording in the house shape, and this time it's in the word family. I'm also using this picture ledge. It came from a store called Daiso, along with some of these rub-on transfers from the Dollar Tree and some other rub-on transfers. Those I eventually did not end up using. I just used the first one that was on that parchment paper type of backing. This one is very easy and probably the simplest of all 3 of the DIYs. So I'm taking some scrap cardboard pieces, and this is going to be the backdrop of my sign. It will be covered in some buffalo check vinyl from the Dollar Tree. I just needed something for the back, and I needed a little bit of volume to it since I will be adding it to that picture ledge. So it needed to have a little thickness to it so that it will sort of fill in the space. You'll see what I'm talking about shortly. So taking some of this buffalo check vinyl, I'm just going to wrap that piece of cardboard just like you would if you're wrapping a present. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And again, this is just to create the background for my wording so that you don't see the cardboard. You'll see something a little bit more decorative. And since this is adhesive vinyl, there was no need to add any glue or anything like that. So here I'm arranging my letters and just trying to get a visual idea of how this is going to look. Essentially, that is how it's going to look. So you just want to clean up your vinyl a little bit, and then taking some of the celery chalk paint in Waverly brand, I went ahead and gave those pieces a good couple coats, I believe. And then when that part was dry, I went ahead and added some of the Waverly. Actually, this is the Home Decor brand wood tint, and just stained that wood ledge. Since it was a raw wood finish, I wanted to give it some color. The next step was to go ahead and attach or adhere those wood pieces onto this vinyl backing. And this will just go into a straight line, since this will essentially be added to that little picture ledge. Next, it was time to see how I was going to attach or make this stay up on that picture ledge, since there wasn't enough thickness for it to fit that ledge perfectly. I did have to add an additional piece of cardboard to the back, and you'll see that in a little bit. So taking some of these rub-on transfers, again, they are from the Dollar Tree, very cute, and they go on super easily. I just went ahead and picked the designs I wanted that fit well into those spaces and just rub them on using my Cricut tool. And you can use your fingernails or, anything. I also use some Mod Podge to just seal in the rub-on transfer and the paint, just for added durability. So as I mentioned, I did have to add a little more depth and thickness to this piece so that it will fit more snugly into that little picture ledge. So I took more of the cardboard that I did in the beginning And here I'm just trying to gauge if this is going to work. And once I figured out that it would, I went ahead and glued it into place. And then took some hot glue and slid that carefully into the picture ledge so that it will stand up nicely. And that was pretty much done. This came out super adorable, super easy, and it's perfect for your farmhouse decor. Hope you guys like it. For the last DIY of this video, I'm using another one of those word houses, and this is in the word love. I'm also taking some other additional embellishments. That wire I did not end up using. It's a wired ribbon. I'm using one of these Dollartree frames. It's just a blank, which is perfect because you don't have to do anything to it, like remove any type of design on it. So it was also the perfect size for this wording. Taking some ivory chalk paint, I went ahead and painted that wood blank. And I am using one of these decoupage paper. It's a Tim Holtz brand, and I got it from Joann's. This is such a cute decoupage paper in this very nice pattern with birds and music notes and whatnot. It's super cute, super vintagey, right up my alley. But before we move on to Mod Podging that, I went ahead and painted my letters in this Apothecary color by the DIY brand paint. And once all that was dry, I'm trying to get an idea of how I'm going to stack these Jenga wood blocks behind them so that they create a 3D effect and they're not just laying flat over the paper. I also decided to paint distress my frame just to make it more cohesive. It was time to lay out my decoupage paper, and I decided to use some Elmer's wood glue. It's just a glue stick, and it works really well. And then just very easily place the decoupage paper over this wood board, and I'm loving how it's looking so far. So for added durability, I went ahead and sealed my wood pieces using some Mod Podge. So here I'm taking those wood Jenga blocks and I'm just trying to lay them out so that they're not seen through those letters, you know, the little openings of the letters. And then I'm just using some hot glue. And here, since the frame is a little smaller than the actual width of the word, I did have to overlap them just a bit. So I was trying to see how I wanted to lay them out so that they would look good. Then I proceeded to just glue all my wood pieces down and then glue my letters over them. And again, this is one of those really easy and simple DIYs that you can make just with some paint and some paper. And you can come up with something super cute just like this for your home. And you can go further with your embellishment if you really wanted to by adding maybe some designs to your lettering. But with the decoupage paper, it was already designed pretty nicely, so there's really no need to add any additional design to my letters. It would just create too much of a busy look. So the only thing I did to this was to add a piece of crochet ribbon from the Dollar Tree across the bottom, which you will see later. As you see here, I am adding some pieces of cardboard over the tops of the Jenga wood blocks because some of the letters had to be a little bit higher than the others. So that's essentially what I'm doing right here. And as I mentioned, this is a piece of crochet ribbon that I just hot glued to the bottom, and that gave it that last finishing touch that this DIY needed, giving it that cute vintage shabby chic farmhouse look. And I love it. I love birds. If you have been watching any of my videos, as I mentioned, I do love birds in my decorating. I hope you guys like this one, and I hope you enjoyed all of the DIYs. If you have any of these letters and don't know what to do with them, hopefully I inspired you to create some of these projects. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my channel. It really does help my channel to grow. Turn on your notifications so that YouTube can notify you every time I upload a new video. I hope you enjoyed my video. Please like and share, and I will see you in my next one. Thank you for watching.